I was talking about all like the random shit that always happens to me. Shit like this. And he was like, do you ever think it's you? And I was like, what? No. And I've been like rethinking about that. And I think the thing that it is that most people don't fight back.
Right.
And when shit happens to me, I just can't help but be like, I need to like beat this person. Like I need to
yourself.
I need to fucking be like, fuck no. Like you can't do this just because you're a piece of shit and no one else is willing to like call you out on that.
It's another episode of
a podcast called Waiting to Dry.
We are just a little humble podcast. Everybody taking shots. Leave us alone. I am Sergio Lopez.
I'm Josh Lawyer.
And we have MJ Lindo on the podcast again.
Hello, hello.
People feel validated to try to defend themselves, so that's fine. But yeah, welcome back. It's only been a week. So
yeah, that's true. It's the last
we're
week.
doing it. We're fucking doing it.
Yeah, felt like there was a lot on our minds to talk about.
Yeah.
So we need to hop back into the booth here.
Yeah. I know a lot happened within this last week, I feel like. But how's your week been, Sergio? Oh, by the way, MJ's here.
Yeah, I'm a little sniffly.
Yeah.
My week was all right. We went to Vanessa and I went to the city for one last little outing before everything shuts down again.
Nice.
So
Where'd you
spent
go?
the weekend over to near the Haight area, like Golden Gate Park. Spent a day strolling around.
Just trying to catch some good vibes or whatnot?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice, that's cool.
Yeah. It was a little bit of a early kind of Christmas gift sort of thing, where like spend a nice little romantical evening together. Yeah.
So was it windy over there? Because I feel like Haight gets windy sometimes.
It was a little windy, yeah. We were there Sunday through Monday, and it was cold Sunday and then windy Monday.
Dare San Francisco. That doesn't sound like them at all. Yeah, I feel like our spot is always like, we always end up in Japantown because of MJ.
Yeah, we were there too.
And the Mission. That's like our two jams.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you guys stayed out there?
Yeah, stayed a night.
Nice. That's cool. Just paint?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Better look out. Jeremy Mann might not appreciate that.
Why is that?
I'm just fucking around.
Because he's the ruler of Golden Gate Park or something.
Cityscapes, that's kind of...
we didn't paint cityscapes. We went to the park. We kept it au natural.
As natural as it gets in San Francisco. And the hustle, it's like you're painting. You have to edit out the homeless guy shitting in the bush. Is your mic on?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's not close?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think you're just like this. You're talking like that.
Oh, yeah. If you talk on the side,
You have to talk from the top.
Yeah.
Or laugh from the top. I just wanted people to hear you laugh at my shitting joke.
No, she's like stifling it.
Yeah, like you ever seen when people sneeze and they hold it in?
It's the worst.
Fucking, it makes me hurt. Like I want to punch him in the face for doing that.
Well, you like to let it all out.
Let it out. What the fuck? We all sneeze. Even in coronavirus, let that shit out. Just into your elbow or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool.
Has anybody ever stopped you and asked you if you free-handed it?
If I free-handed it? Yeah.
That's a joke me and MJ always talk about. Like when someone doesn't know anything about art, they always are like, wow, did you freehand that?
Yeah.
And then if you're like, I don't know, and then if you're using reference, they're like, oh, so you traced it. And then you're like, it's like either like you freehanded it, and we've come to the conclusion either freehand means you made it up from inside your brain and you used your hand, and then using a reference as you traced it, and maybe I don't know.
That was like when you were a kid, though, that whenever people found out that you could kind of draw, that was always a question. It's like, did you freehand that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there was no concept of not having to trace.
No, and
Yeah.
it's weird because it's just recently that I've been getting that from adults. You know, like
Really?
I literally haven't heard it for probably 25 years, and then within like the last year, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, did you freehand that?" Like maybe it's because getting into mural work, it's like more with you're with the public, possibly. Maybe that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Where it's like, "Oh, did you freehand that?"
But I get it on Instagram sometimes too.
Really?
Really? Huh.
Yeah. And I feel like other places. Well, you get it from your coworkers too. I feel you did. I remember you were like, when your coworkers found out you were an artist, they were like, "Oh, do you freehand that?"
The one that I get painting outdoors sometimes is actually that reminds me of something that just happened. But yeah, it's usually like, what are you painting? Even though I'm like standing right in front of the thing I'm painting. But yeah, we were out painting a couple weeks ago, and just this mob of like probably like teenage girls were going through the park, and they stopped to look at it, and one of them goes like, "Oh, what are you painting there?" And then I guess her sister or something was like it's right in front of you. You could see it right there. And she's like, "That doesn't look like that."
What'd you say? Listen here, you little bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't-
Yeah, it's like,
You both pieces of shit!
hell yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah.
what about you guys? Other than what we will get into, any fun topics?
Yeah, I mean, we've been super busy with like our shop stuff.
Yeah.
And just trying to get that going and experimenting with that. This is like our first holiday adventure. So
Oh yeah.
that, and then we have commissions. So we've been working on those.
Oh, that's cool. Mural commissions or just like easel stuff?
Mostly easel stuff. We have
Yeah.
one mural commission, but we just haven't gotten to it.
Nice.
Probably right after the holiday season, we'll knock that out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to think of just how much work goes into merch and goes into setting up like your own little shop.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just even the act of like having to put all that inventory on your website takes a while too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It costs a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Yeah. When it comes to commission stuff, do you feel like you guys have to nudge the people along to like get them get things moving?
As far as what?
Like commission, like if it's something that they're kind of, or do they come to you with everything already in mind and they're just like, "Do it for me now," or is it more like, do you have to do some back and forth between like figuring out what they want for the idea and just like getting approvals for stuff?
When it comes to painting commissions, I feel like it's usually pretty straightforward.
Okay.
At least for me, I mean, I think that it's a matter of getting the right images and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The ones that we've had a lot more back and forth and kind of trying to figure out what the client wants has been for logo design and
okay.
for like mural compositions at times, because
Right.
if I approach a company and ask them like, "Hey, do you guys want a mural?" and they're like, "Sure, I don't know what I want," and then it's really difficult to try and get what they might want out of their head, them not being artistic.
Yeah.
But that's the closest thing I would think, not so much commissions though.
Yeah, I think for commissions, it's at least for the little bit of experience that I've had, it's me letting them know like what they're signing up for. Like if I'm taking this on, I'm gonna figure out how to create this painting, and then you get it what I make, and you signed up for like because you saw my work and you're ready to like. You believe that I can create what you want.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to. There was a lady who saw my work and wanted a commission of her brother, like, I don't know if it was a brother or a family member or something, but they were in like a soccer field and it was two people playing soccer, like action. I'm like, I can't do this. You know, like, it's weird when somebody approaches me seeing my work and saying something like complete 180. Can you paint this? So, I mean, I sent her people that could do it, but those are the things where you have to make that, because it's like, I'm going to, first of all, really not enjoy doing that commission.
You're gonna have like glossy lips and shit.
They are going to look very beautiful. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, those aren't worth it for me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just gonna, it's like, I appreciate them coming to me, but I'm going to send them another direction.
Yeah, that's when you like refer them to a friend.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird. The new thing is trying to figure out how. I mean, with like, I'm pretty sure I've talked about how like we've hired a business coach on the podcast, right?
I don't think you even mentioned it on the podcast. No.
So we've hired a business coach, and we've been trying to like learn that aspect of just trying to fill gaps of what we lack in knowledge. But a big part of that is like learning how to sell, like be a salesperson, because we rely on galleries so much to do that. And that relationship is quickly changing, in my opinion. And I think that if you don't, as an artist, try to figure out how to get better at that, you're going to have a lot of issues, I think, in the future. And so that's kind of like my mentality is trying to figure out now how to not immediately try to scare off anyone who wants to give me money.
Yeah.
But trying to figure out if there's a way that I can be happy creating something for them. So it's like that, like, I don't want to like be like this soulless commission machine. So I have to like figure out what, if there's a potential there without shutting them down, is my new thing I'm trying to learn. Because
Yeah, that makes sense.
my personality and just tells me to like immediately shoo them off
Right.
with a broom.
I feel like that's maybe somewhat typical for artists in general.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I don't know where it comes from. Yeah. It's hard. Maybe it is like just like you treat your art so precious that it's like any little thing that might threaten that is like you want to shy away from it or run away from it somehow.
Well, I think it's also the idea of rejection, because when you're selling something, you have to be ready to hear the word no, or ready to hear the reason why somebody may not want to buy it. And as an artist, you might be scared to even approach that idea based off of the response that you'll get from somebody.
Like you dump them before they can dump you.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's like the scary thing about, I think that's why there's a lot of like talented people that don't get very far, because they're just, they're scared to raise their hands, essentially.
Yeah. But I think it also comes back to like the idea of what you want to create and making sure that I'm not going to want to fucking paint a kid in a baseball uniform. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe there is a version of that I would be stoked on doing.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like of a kid, Norman Rockwell, to like pull up an example. There's plenty of him like painting kids in baseball uniforms or whatever.
Right.
That like, I'm like, oh, that's a dope piece. But it's like it's like almost like we assume the image we're gonna paint before we get there. So it's like if I could pose the kid to do something interesting, but if you give me a photo of like him at like baseball, they have like photo day or whatever. It's like if you try to give me one of those pictures, I'll probably be like, no, I don't want to paint that shit.
Right.
But if I could like set your kid up and figure out cool lighting and all those things, then I could create something I'm stoked on, which ends up being a better product, and then you're happy that you got what you want. So it's trying to figure out like how to like not talk someone down from something, but also not like killing my soul for money.
For
So
sure.
it's trying to figure out like, oh, I would be stoked on painting something where a kid looked like an old timey baseball player, like in a Norman Rockwell thing, but try to figure out modern things to like play around with it. But yeah, so that's the kind of new mentality I'm trying to take with commission work and figuring out how that can make it so we both win in the end, where they get what they want and I get to create something I'm really happy about.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But I don't know. How about you?
Yeah, I think I guess depending on what it is, actually, guess I'm a little bit more willing to be a bit of a commission machine. But yeah, I mean, most of the things that I've been putting out lately have been a little bit like low stakes for me anyway. Although, yeah, I mean, like I talked to you a little bit about a commission that I'm still in the process of securing, and that one is not necessarily something I would have thought of to do on my own, but the idea is cool to me, and it does seem to have a good amount of freedom to it as far as like the actual like the idea of it and everything, because like I went to school to be an illustrator basically, so
Right.
My mindset when it comes to all that stuff is a little bit more different. Like there's a part of me that really likes to take other people's ideas and make a good image out of it.
Right.
So if the thing is, though, I really need to be into that idea to be inspired enough to do that. So in
Right.
that way, we're pretty similar. But yeah, I think I'm, I guess, a little bit more willing to take on an idea that on the outset might not seem that cool at first. But if I could come up with something for it, then I'm more on board with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the dilemma, and just kind of being open to that mentality, I think, is beneficial. It's like, I'm not going to paint everything, but if you have an idea and I can figure out how to do it in a way that I would be stoked, then I'm down.
Yeah, the idea is a little bit more open-ended, then that's better too.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that, I wanted to bring up one thing, and it's super important. It's about something you painted recently, Sergio, and this might end our friendship. But you painted, what are those candies called? We talked about this yesterday.
The licorice?
Oh, the good and plenties?
Good and plenty. Do you like black licorice, Sergio?
Hell no.
Okay.
No, that was speaking of commissions, that was what do you call it? I put out a call for like, hey, what Halloween candies do you want me to paint? And that was one of them on there. I was like, I don't even like these things, but I like the shapes of them.
Yeah. No, we were talking to like the paint thing. We were like, oh, it kind of looks like pills, like in a weird way. And
Yeah, totally.
It looks cool in that way, but. We were talking, one of our friends came over yesterday and we were talking about good and plenty. We got on the topic of black licorice, and then from black licorice to good and plenty. And we were like, I don't know what that is. And then she started describing them, and then we were like, oh, I think Sergio just painted that.
Yeah.
And then it got me thinking too, if I could be your friend or not more, because anyone who eats black licorice is a disgusting human being. And
There was one of those weird news stories that some guy in like Finland or something recently died from eating too much black licorice.
No.
yeah. His soul was as black as his candy choice.
Right. Yeah.
That is
That's
overdose on black licorice. Ugh.
Yeah.
Just do heroin.
Right. Seriously.
God.
that's crazy.
Well, that's
That's like, was it David Cho who got mercury poisoning from eating too much toro?
and I get that. If I could eat toro every day, I mean, maybe not every day, but
What kind of fish is toro?
it's like the fatty part of the tuna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I can't even concentrate right now. Literally, I'm just imagining Toro over a little tiny little thing of rice. Nice. But other than that, we had a fun week. We had a fun thing that happened to us this week.
Very fun.
I'm not sure which one we're talking about.
There was a cool YouTube video that featured our art.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's crazy how, I mean, just, do you want to say it real quick?
Go ahead, you got this.
Well, so we had a mural. I'm assuming that if anybody new is listening, we had a mural that we put up that got a lot of controversy. And it was
Strange controversy.
it was like, before we even started painting it, there was a group of people that were really upset at the concept. And it's the name of the mural is Good versus Evil, and it's a young girl fighting this huge luchador. And people were saying that we were pinning Chicano people against indigenous people. It was really kind of reaching, but somehow it got backed up based off of, because it's a group of people who are like art activists here in the area, and they have like a following. So there's a good group of people that were like, yeah, how dare they? But then
And what do you mean by art activists is like they're a group of people who try to get public art,
right,
and they also try to make it like activist art.
right. And
I don't know if that's is activist art a term?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
They call it like artivism.
Oh my god.
But I mean, this was, so yeah, people were freaking out even before, but there was also people that were like confused just simply with people being upset at it, because they're like, we haven't even given them a chance to explain it or finish the mural. Like, it was just a drawing. Anyway, this was like a year and a half ago or whatever, and it was a lot of back and forth. We didn't really come to like a conclusion, I guess, because the lady wanted to meet in a public way. This was again a year ago before COVID, and she sent me an email saying that she wanted to do like a public hearing essentially, and have like a mediator there that could keep us all in line somehow. I don't really understand, but basically she was going to set it up with her people, and we would just come there to get yelled at. And I never responded to her email. And then our friend sent me a link of her posing in front of our completed mural, and saying she won an award for being like the best art activist of the year or something like that this year, which is fine. Like,
it wasn't art activist. It was specifically like, I think it was like a Sonoma County award for
which
something. I
didn't even know that was a thing. It's fine. The problem is that she was posing in front of our mural and talking about how she's into this community art, and she's been so excited to work and add art to the community, insinuating, like, literally the first shots of her, and there's several shots of her like panning back and forth. Oh yeah, and there was several shots of like her panning back and forth in front of our mural and like twirling in front of it, and it's like insinuating that, first of all, that she had something to do with the mural, like almost like it was her mural, even though she said it wasn't. It's like, if you're posing and saying I'm so happy,
she didn't say it wasn't. She told us.
Yeah, she was
that
like,
she didn't say it was her mural.
Right, but it's like if we won an award and went and stood in front of somebody else's mural and we're twirling, and we're so excited to be part of this mural and twirling with our arms up.
And it's specifically about you adding art to the community.
Right.
And you're like, and literally the only mural in that video was ours.
Yeah.
The only other time they show it is when she's painting on something.
But they don't show that
They don't
mural.
show it. They just show her painting. So the only thing they show of a mural is our mural. And
right.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And then, Josh put it on his stories, and people were getting really upset.
Yeah.
And so she, even though it was on Josh's stories, she messaged me saying that I'm still up for this public discussion. I sent this email and you didn't respond to me. And I was like, yeah. And I said I didn't respond to you based off of this initial thing you put out where it was like the initial Facebook post that Josh saved, or it literally says, "What the fuck? Who approved this? How dare they? Let's take this down. Absolutely not in my community." And then I sent that to her. I'm like, why would
Not
I?
only that, but it shows someone's comment. The first comment is literally someone saying, maybe we should wait for context before we're judging it so harshly.
Right.
And then her comment right below it says, well, look at the scissor lift. They have funding. As if that's a legitimate response to his response.
Right.
It's like, I'm judging this so harshly. Well, maybe you should wait for context. Scissor lift. That's a crazy person response.
Right. So, so then I sent her that screenshot, and I was like, why would I be open to speaking to someone who came at us so hard? And even after that, we had a full write-up in the local newspaper about what the mural meant. And even after that, there were still issues. And
Oh, really?
yeah, and even and so then I responded to her, and she's like, "Well, that wasn't an attack. I was just simply trying to figure out who painted this."
Yeah.
And
To
it's
the point
like,
where the city was like, we can offer you potentially around $15,000 to paint over your mural.
yeah.
Because they wanted to make sure that they were trying to censor our mural, and they knew that the only way that it would work is if they would pay us to do so.
Right.
All based off of this lady.
Yeah, and the other funny thing is that recently, like since all like the the George Floyd stuff, like literally when the George Floyd stuff hit, our mural became like a beacon for Sonoma County for that type of like activists. So like we kept on getting tagged over and over when it came to like people protesting and wanting to fight, and even during the polls, like it
Press
was almost
Democrat
like
used it.
yeah, it was almost like this anti-Trump mural too. Like people were like weirdly. I mean, it kind of, that's like the point of the mural though. It's good versus evil. It's like the
It's like
David and Goliath.
Yeah,
like
it's whatever you take from it. So
Right.
like if you want to make it based on your political stance, perfectly fine. If you want to base it around like something shitty that's going on in your life based on just your life experience, do it. Like it's supposed to be like find strength when it's hard to. That's kind of the point of like a epic tale type thing.
And we just thought we thought it was fitting for the area where we live, because we live in a highly immigrant area. Immigrants are fighters. We have to be.
Yeah.
But anyways, going back to the conversation I was having with the lady, she was like, well, I'm still open to talking. And I was like, I told her, no, I don't feel comfortable. And then she started sending me again screenshots of people in her group saying, well, this mural never sat well with me. And I thought that was, she kept on going back and forth because she's like, and by the way, I love your work. It was like she was going back and forth. So she was sending me screenshots of people saying that they didn't like the mural, which is fine. You're perfectly allowed to have your opinion. And then she'd be like, by the way, I love all art. I love that we can have these open conversations about art and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, she's like a full-on psycho because she's like doing all this negative shit and then coming back and trying to like butter you up and trying to...
The craziest part is her winning award and then standing in front of our mural that she tried to take down and be like...
Exactly, yeah.
Look what I did. And you're like, bitch, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That is not what you did.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, you didn't do shit. Like, you did the opposite of add anything to this mural. You tried to literally take this thing down, and now you're standing in front of it being like, I want an award for creating art in the community. Look at me in front of the only piece of art that I'm going to stand in front of during the whole fucking video.
Right.
Crazy.
Which is weird.
I was literally fucking shaking the morning of. I was like, I can't. Because it was like, we were like... it's like I think I was talking about on the previous episode about like how I'm trying to stay positive and all this shit.
Yeah.
And then that happened, and I was so fucking angry. And that's when I posted it on my story, and I was like, fuck this person. Because first of all, I hate in general when someone tries to take credit for someone else's art. But this was such a worse version of that.
Yeah.
Because it's like you tried to get, and we know, like, I was suspicious of their intentions, and we met with people that work for the city that were communicating with these people, and were trying. They were the ones that offered us potentially to pay to paint over that mural, and they told us that they were jealous of the attention our mural was getting.
Really?
And I recorded that conversation because I was like, fuck, like all these people, like they're all like, they'll say shit, but then they pretend there's something else. Like,
Yeah.
and so that's why I took a screenshot of like her Facebook shit. And I think I deleted most of the other parts of that, which I'm kind of pissed about, because like there was so much of people being like, well, we should wait, and her and this guy Martine being like so negative towards the, like anyone being like, you don't know what this means, don't assume. And then I met that guy Martine. He was similar. He was like, we had a good conversation about, like, I don't think you understand what a good conversation means.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if I ran up to you and were like, you're a piece of shit, fuck you, yada yada yada, and like, now what do you think about that?
Yeah.
And then if I'm like, I'm not, and you're like, good discussion, that was great.
We got somewhere today.
we learned a lot.
Yeah, it's and then like I was trying to figure out who I could contact with the newspaper, and I didn't get any response, but I heard from other like sources that we're not the only ones that she's bullied. Like she goes out of her way to bully other Latino artists.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, which is weird. It's almost like that thing where it's like she wants to be the one and only Latino artist working in this community or something. Like I don't know what it is, but it's
Famine
like
mentality.
Yeah, like she goes out of her way to bully other artists, which is really weird.
And it's funny too because we live in this community. This is like the low income community. Like it's like probably the most cultured community in our city. But she comes here but she goes back to like, she lives in Rincon Valley, which for anyone who lives in Santa Rosa knows, like that's kind of like the fancier area of the city. Yeah. But it's like she feels like she owns this area. And I mean, we've talked about this before, how fucking mad I was about this mural. And I mean, about all the drama that came with this mural.
I know, and we were like, it was so, because this mural's getting demolished this year. I thought that it was a nice little life it lived past that. Like we fought for it, it went up, and then it's coming down, and it's like, okay, that's behind us, and then this stuff happens, and it's like all those feelings rushing back.
Yeah, and
so it was a little frustrating.
I use this podcast as a way to like air out my frustrations.
Yeah.
But like my Instagram, I usually try to keep like away from like adding drama in that world. But this was like the first time where I was like, fuck this person. Like I was so mad. I was like, it's just so crazy. And then MJ reached out and she was like, I didn't take credit for it. And you're like,
Right.
Do you not understand what that video was trying to show? Was something that video is you being like, I won an award for creating art in the community, and then showing art that I assume she was a part of. I don't even know what else. Like,
yeah, anybody else looking at that video would be like, oh, cool. She had like if they saw her in that video, and like somebody watched that video, they're like, oh, I like that mural, I'm gonna reach out to this person's collective because I like that mural. And it's like she, like me as an outsider looking in, I would 100% assume she had something to do with that mural.
Yeah, I mean, even on Facebook there was like our buddy that like forwarded us the thing. I don't know if that's where he saw it was on Facebook, but he was like, she doesn't have anything to do with this mural.
Yeah.
And someone was like, you shouldn't guess. Like she might have not done it, but she might have funded it or something. And then I went on and I was like, nope, not at all. Did the opposite. And that person was like, oh wow, good to know.
Yeah.
But it was like a thing where where it was like watching the video, it's like, oh, she might not have painted. It's like, you might easily come to that conclusion.
That was the other issue that I had is like, we do not want any sort of affiliation with her. She is completely like not, like we are not.
Yeah, she's fuel to like my fire of like trying to like do shit in this town. I'm like,
for sure.
Yeah.
In a way, it's like I want to do shit in this town, and then there's like a bonus of like all the like political type things that go on here. It's like I just want to be like we did this. No thanks to you guys, or like who aren't artists, who are shitty people who take advantage of public art systems and do garbage art and then reap the rewards of it and then stand there in front of a video and being like, I'm a great person for doing nothing worth value, at least in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so, and then taking credit for shit I tried to stop because I'm a horrible person, actually.
Right.
But guess what? Your boy snitched.
Yeah, and then we reached out to the paper who had put her, who had like highlighted her, and I never heard back. So we had to go ourselves and ask for a copyright.
Yeah, I went to YouTube and I was like, copyright, and they're like, we need more details. And then I was like, here, I just pulled out all the articles that were written up about that mural and us doing it. So there's like a shitload of pictures in our image and stuff. And then I was like, and then here's an image of her talking shit about the mural, so you can have proof that she had nothing to do with it.
Right.
And they were like, and then immediately after that, I was like, dish, and I was like, fuck yeah. I'm like, hopefully people click on that video, because when you click on it, it says this video does not exist.
Yeah.
It's a copyright by Joshua Lloyd and Jay Lindo.
That's pretty. I had no idea.
My favorite part. So when she does it, she's like, they got me. It's the win the war analogy.
I mean, it's like, put the video up, just cut out our mural. Like,
that's what we told them. Can you edit out our mural?
Just like, go get your award, whatever. Just don't use our mural for your propaganda. You know, like.
And this is a good. Like a good thing to take. We've heard this from Jet Martinez, who was like, every mural I do, I get a copyright on it, and it's specifically mural based, I think, because you have the potential for someone to like do something in front of it in a way that, as an artist, you might be like, no. Like, for instance, if like Gucci does a huge like magazine spread and they have like a model standing in front of your mural for the thing, it's like, well, you just used my artwork without paying an artist, even though you might think that that's okay. It's like
great exposure.
Yeah, but it's like if you had a set designer to design a set for the photograph and he created a bunch of artwork, it's like you wouldn't hesitate to paint that or pay that person.
Yeah.
But it's like you have this feeling that you own this person's artwork because it's there on your street. But it's like if you put a Coca-Cola can in your fucking movie, they're gonna be like, edit that shit out. We didn't give you permission for that.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out. But for anyone trying to do murals, definitely try to think about that as a way to kind of control how your art is used. At the end of the day, if like someone like Gucci does some shit like that, then at least you might get a paycheck out of it. Yeah. You know, and then you get paid as an artist, which is, what we're trying to do as artists is make sure we get paid for what we're worth. MJ's pee break number 1, one of many. Good.
And we're back.
Good.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I don't know. One of the things that was interesting was like, that was the first time I feel like I kind of was like, fuck a person on Instagram. and I was like, I put it on my stories, and then like after a bit I was like, I had to like delete my story because it was like the wave of amount of people that were like, fuck this person, and like, what can I do to like do something? And I was like, I felt like, even though I feel like, and like there's a justification to this anger because of the obvious, like, not only just taking credit, but the fact that she did what she did before she took credit. But it was like, I don't want to like, first I don't want to be like stuck in this weird like all day long, probably like for the entire time that post would be up, having to deal with people being like, fuck this person. And I was like,
it's definitely sending a mob her way.
It's also like putting yourself in like a weird like
mindset.
Like it's like I was gonna have to like sign up. I was already like, I was pretty angry for like the next like couple days.
Yeah.
But there was definitely fuel to that fire through like conversations I was having on Instagram.
Oh.
Right.
And I was like, fuck, I gotta like stop. Like,
Well, you got to get yourself out of that mindset, because it's like there's no point in dwelling in negativity. Like,
Yeah.
I think the main thing is that we do not want. Like, even if it's like something that keeps on going, like the main thing is I don't want people to think that we're affiliated with her, was the main issue I had
Right.
with that. It's like, I don't want to be tied to her at all.
Yeah.
So as long as that's done, which is like that video was taken down, then we are able to move forward.
Yeah.
Because it's like, again, that was, I had totally, like, it was not on my mind again
I know.
until our friend brought that video up,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and the if anything, it's like it's using it as fuel to like push your motivation to like succeed. It's like how we talked about how like Michael Jordan would like
Right, yeah.
use things as like a way to motivate him.
Yeah.
And even sometimes just lie to himself. It's like I don't want to get stuck in this thing of like being in a weird mind space where I'm just angry because there's no productivity to that.
Yeah.
But if you just kind of have her as like, I'm just gonna fly right. I mean, I feel like we've already like flown right past her as far as like public art is concerned. But it's like
Yeah.
we're just gonna like keep you in like our rearview mirror and just see you get smaller and smaller. You know, it's like,
Right.
Well, we also because her mentality will only take her so far. Like we have this idea of wanting not only to do better for ourselves but for other artists. You know, like we're constantly throwing opportunities out to other people. Like if something doesn't fit for us, I'm gonna recommend the next person, and that's not her MO. You know, she's trying to take people down.
Right.
Meanwhile, like all the ideas that we have are group ideas. It's like, who else can we bring in? You know, and it's like the more people that succeed, the better it is for all of us as a whole.
For sure.
But that's not her mentality.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a mentality in the city we live in, which I feel like is probably common with a lot of cities. Is this weird idea of like, where like we get it? I feel like we get it a lot where people will say like, "Oh, I wish I had an art community in my neck of the woods," and it's like, well, we don't really have one here,
Right.
Yeah.
but there are people trying to create community, and then there are people trying to benefit from public money through public art. And
Yeah.
and I found that the people that are pursuing public money through public art are very cutthroat, and then the people who are trying to build community are much more like trying to help each other up. And it's trying to figure out who I mean, hopefully you want to be part of the community group, but it's trying to figure out how to make that community win, if that makes any sense. How to create a
Yeah,
community
definitely.
and then make it so that everyone's pushing each other forward
Yeah.
in a way that creates the art community that you want. Because everyone wants an art community, but like there are people working to create that thing.
Right.
And just like you wanting it, you can put your best foot forward in trying to like make your community, something that you're at least proud of.
Right.
For sure. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So fuck that lady.
Yeah, it's definitely important not to dwell on that stuff though, because it's
Yeah.
like you got to just
Yeah. Because it could just fucking put you in a freeze.
yeah.
And you could put a shitload of energy into trying to like stop her, but you could focus that. I mean, the only thing I was trying to do was make sure that video was getting edited.
Yeah.
It's like I even told the Press Democrat, like you can. I don't care about the video. Just edit my artwork out.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's like MJ's been in communications with them before, and they very much ghosted us on this one. So
Yeah.
Really? Oh, that was my next question.
Yeah, they're usually very like if it's something that they're interested in, they're very quick. And then for like it's been a week and I didn't get a response for this one.
Yeah.
It could be the person that that could be the person that I emailed for whatever reason is out of office, but
Yeah.
it is weird. It's
Yeah.
weird that I haven't
But then
Heard back.
I feel like we have a lot of like really cool stuff we're working on. And when that stuff kicks in and they come out reaching, it's not going to be like, we're not going to be the most motivated to be like, yay, you know, like come in like, whatever, because there's going to be a sour taste in our mouth, because they've used our art before too, and we're like, cool, that's cool, but for this reason, for this moment specifically, we were like, no, not with this lady, not with like someone who's like, who we think is a bad person for art and shit, and we don't want to like be associated with her. We don't want her to ever use our artwork. So, but yeah, it's good to know that at least you can reach out to YouTube.
I know you.
And they respond back, and they worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
So that felt good.
So was it the Press Democrats YouTube channel that it went up on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is our local newspaper for anyone listening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a thing where like they have a longer standing relationship with her and that whole group, where they're just like kind of having to choose a side, I guess. And
There's
all
also a lot of weird
doesn't
politics that go into it. Like she's like tied into some local politicians, but it's like,
right.
I mean, we don't care, you know. It's like, it's where I think that there's a lot of also like weird bullying where it's like, oh, you know, we got this person on our side, but it's like we have nothing to lose, you know. We're just trying to create something cool, and it's like I don't know, there's people like I feel like there's almost like a fear of her as well, because she's like tied to certain people, and I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'll talk shit about anyone. We all know.
But yeah, I'm wondering if that's why she sees you guys kind of as a threat or something. Like you guys have no ties to anyone. That
I don't think she knew who we were when she first came at us.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Yeah. Like, like she doesn't. She has nobody else to go to like kind of
right.
Like you guys have no higher ups, so it's like
right. She also had a huge issue with the fact that like her and her group, a big issue that they had was that there was no community involvement, and I think that the issue with that is that if there's a call for art and it's a community project, that's the MO of that project. But not every public art piece has the say of the people, you know, like you know, there's plenty of artwork that has gone up and didn't have a say in any of it, you know, and it's like art is art. Like, you're not
privately
going
owned
to
businesses. It's not like that's not like a public building.
Right.
It's a privately owned business. So it's like, it's public art as in it's in the public arena, but it's not public art as in the city funded it. They manage the project, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that it was going to be demolished. You should say that's because the building itself is being demolished, right?
Oh yeah. It's because they're doing they're reconstructing that whole area.
Low income housing.
Yeah, we knew that even prior
before,
because that whole they've already it's kind of like a constantly moving area because there was a Dollar Tree right there, and then that got moved because it's going to get demolished as well. But then there's like a temporary swamp. What's it? Swamp meet?
Yeah.
Is that what that's there?
Yeah.
Flea market.
Yeah, there's like a flea market there right now, but it's forever changing.
Which I don't know. I don't even know if it's a flea market. It looks more like a thrift store in a weird way.
Yeah, the library is right there too. I don't know where they're going to move that.
Yeah, they're trying to make it like a really nice library.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah. But
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But yeah. So good fucking times.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like the whole idea of like that's how they get their way is like using kind of the sway of the community or whatever.
Yeah, that's definitely what it seemed like. It seemed like she kind of ran a campaign to taint the waters.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And then, because she doesn't even live in this fucking neighborhood.
Yeah.
But she uses the people in this neighborhood as like a way to like taint the waters, and then people are like, I heard like when we had an ice cream social with the YMC or the Boys and Girls Club right across the street or right next to the mural.
Yeah.
And everyone that came to us was like, we heard from Facebook that this was about this, and we were like, no. And
It's like,
just-
why would
we had
it-
to, like explain to every single person, even though we explained it in like 3 different newspapers,
Right.
because of this one person's post.
But why would we create a mural about because they're like, this mural is about pinning Chicanos against Indigenous. It's like, why would we create a mural about that? Like, it's so weird.
Yeah, who would do that? Like, do it in a predominantly Latin community, as if like, am I right, guys? Who's with me?
You're right.
It's so weird. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, but yeah, I'm happy that we were able to get that video down, and
Yeah.
it will be sad to see that mural come down. And I mean, I would consider that one like our first real mural. And it's led to like some amazing opportunities, even with all the headaches that it gave us. It was definitely like the leading cause of some other really big projects.
Yeah.
And for that, I'm grateful. I think that we've grown in that year a lot. And I'm excited to like move forward from it and have it just be like one of our building blocks.
Yeah, that was the sucky thing, was we were so past that drama.
Yeah.
We were like, everything we were doing was like focused on like where we want to be, and like,
Our next moves.
yeah, and like where we want to be a year and 2 years from now.
Yeah.
And like how to get there. And then it's like that one thing just pulls you back, and you're like, fuck this person. What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
full on psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like hearing everything laid out like that. She knew exactly what she was doing. Like the whole thing about first trying to get the mural down, then having like a open discussion forum about it. It's like, oh, you're just gonna have all your people against.
Well, yeah, it's like she's feeding us to sharks.
Yeah.
And I'm already like, he's not a public speaker, and I feel like I can do okay speaking publicly, but I'm not a confrontational person. So if hella people are coming at me, like we're just gonna come off like blubbering people that can't like hold up to a conversation.
I could hold up to a conversation.
But like as a public,
like being yelled at by a group.
Yeah, like
I'm not gonna that's just putting yourself in a dumb scenario.
Right.
That's nothing to do with public speaking. That's just putting yourself in a bad situation to get yelled at. It's like, fuck no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I remember I was talking to one of our friends. Him too, Cody and Becca.
Oh, sure.
And I was talking about all like the random shit that always happens to me, and shit like this. And he was like, "Do you ever think it's you?" And I was like, "What? No." And I've been like rethinking about that, and I think the thing that it is that most people don't fight back.
Right.
And when shit happens to me, I just can't help but be like, I need to like beat this person. Like I need to
yourself.
I need to fucking be like, fuck no, like you can't do this just because you're a piece of shit and no one else is willing to like call you out on that. And that's what ends up putting me in these weird situations.
Right.
But
I feel like 95% of people will just secretly be upset. And then there's a few that will stand
I think
up.
that's a big problem. Is like that's why people like her get rewards for being it's pretty much them being like, you're a brown person who does stuff,
right?
And you're like, there's plenty of people who do stuff, but are doing it to like make for like positive reasons,
right?
And not trying to hold other people down who are brown,
right. But
she checks all these right boxes,
right?
Yeah, that's true. She has a whole big shield for herself with this whole sort of persona. I don't know if persona is the right word, but the whole like sort of thing that she's built for herself. Yeah. Like even the way she's gone about it, like she didn't like really try to confront you guys direct. Like she never like specifically talked about her intention. You just kind of had to either infer or hear it secondhand from other people.
Yeah. Right. And one of the things you said, which was like, we didn't have like someone above us who she can talk to. Mm-hmm. It was funny because there was, God damn it. There was a lady who who named Spring, who also does like public art stuff around here, and they like went at her assuming that we were associated with her, that and that she was running this project, and she had nothing to do with this project,
Right.
Okay.
But because that's the game that they play, they were like, oh, it must be her. Let's go at her
simply because
for
we
our
have
shit.
worked with her for something.
Yeah, and that's the game they play, is like, let's go. Like, they all kind of play that, you know, that like those are the public art people, and they play their
Right.
games, and it's like, we're not associated to people like that. We're our own fucking entity, and we do whatever the fuck we want, and people let us do something, we're gonna do it, and it has nothing to do with teaming up with people and being anti another people because we're on this team. It's like, and I'm anti her because of her personality that showed through.
Right.
And the dude that like, it was like her and another artist that were like the ones that mainly kicked up the dust to start this whole thing. And he's another person. He's like, his wife is a lawyer for the city, and it's like, they play that politic game, and he's the one that does. You ever seen those like those metal drums that they're like welded together and somehow they're public art?
I'm sure I have.
They look dangerous as fuck. It's like, why should a kid? They like advertise it as like something a kid should play on, and you're like,
Oh, really?
Those are just metal drums, like not bolted to the floor. Like, don't let your kids play on that, people. But yeah, I mean, as like you know, like as an artist walking around this town, there's a lot of really bad public art,
Sure.
Yeah.
and that's the shittiest thing. Is like that shitty bench got paid for by us, and no one cares about it or likes it. You know, and it's like, if you look up like murals in Santa Rosa, I guarantee ours will be like the one that you see a shitload of, and it's like, so people love it, and the city paid us nothing for it, but all these shitty people who are trying to just like get money for doing the tiniest little bullshit thing,
Right.
welding drums together and painting them a color as if that's somehow art. And you're like, I mean, that's a big reason for us why we wanted to do murals here, was like, I'm so tired of seeing bad art in this city. Like, and we weren't trying to get funding. We were just like, we need to like do some murals in this city because they need better shit in here, like in this town.
Right.
Other than the Eric Burke here, and I can't remember. I think there's a couple of ones that we like. Yeah, I mean, even the Bike Czar, it's like a little local bike shop.
Oh,
They got a mural, and we were like, cool, like it's better, like we were like, yes, like that's what we need, more people fucking doing murals in this town. Amanda Lynn did one.
Oh,
We're
right,
excited
yeah.
about that. Like, it's like the more awesome murals we can get in this town, the better. Like, of an art scene we have here.
Yeah.
Because people are going to see that and think like, oh, how can I get that? And they're going to reach out to friends because they have no clue of how to do it.
Sure.
And hopefully one of their friends has a talented artist friend who is willing to do it. And then we get more cool art.
Yeah.
And then you build a bigger and bigger mural scene here. And it's one of the things that us as artists don't realize how important that is, because it's where most people ingest artwork,
Sure. Yeah.
you know. So everyone benefits from a very nice mural scene.
Yeah, I would say that most people probably don't have a piece of artwork, like original piece of art that they paid for.
Right.
I would say like 99% of people probably don't have that.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to move past it and just like focus on the stuff that we've been.
Yeah. We were ready to
Working
move past
on-
it, I feel like.
Yeah.
This is probably like the last thing, as long as she doesn't figure out another thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think that's the last you'll hear from me? Or you
I think
hoping.
I think so. I mean, I blocked her on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, and up until whatever we have planned, I don't think that she'll reach out or anything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And she could have come and talked to us. Like, we were working on the mural
Yeah.
for a good amount of time. So it was like, You could have come at any time and talked to us. You didn't have to like build a public forum for it.
Right. She could have just sent me an email asking like, hey, like,
when are you guys working on the mural? I'd love to come and like have a conversation.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of like, I want to build a public forum and then like I'll manage it. Like, okay, you're fucking psycho. Like, do you want me to I can do it too, and I can just tell everyone ahead of time.
All of our friends to come.
To come, and that we all hate this lady, and just talk shit about her. It's like,
it's just clear that the motive was not to actually have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
It's to like discourage you from like going forward with it, I guess, or something. I don't know.
Yeah. They were just trying, they wanted that wall, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
And they were mad that they didn't get it. And they thought that justified response is to throw a fit, try to turn a bunch of people against us, try to like get their city contacts involved. They had like, we heard from people that they had all these conspiracy theories about like these brothers and how they were plotting against this. And we were like, I don't even fucking know those people.
Yeah. There's all these like politics that we walked into unknowingly.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that this area,
some ongoing feud. That's
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there's this like, there's all these like feuds going on that we had no idea that we just kind of like sat right in the middle of and put a mural in front of.
It was like, we're going to paint a mural. And they were like, what does this mean? Who are you with?
Exactly.
Who do you work for?
Yeah, because well, the thing is like, we moved here. We had lived here for a while. I mean, we've been here for like 6-7 years now.
Oh.
And we liked that wall. And I worked for like 6 months leading up to that mural to try and get it to happen.
Oh, really?
And just like all the logistics, like calling whoever, because I had no idea who the wall belonged to. There was a ridiculous amount of just like calls and time and paperwork that went into even getting on that wall. And so
so this was something that you came up with to like create the mural for, or did they have or did they want a mural there and you like this was something that you 100%
it's like
created the demand for?
We went that was just the wall we picked. There was like because we're like, it'd be really cool to do something by our house, and it was a good wall, and literally down the street, and there was just like a bunch of like, I didn't know who to call, so I contacted the city, and then the city referred till I found out who it was, set up everything, and then we had everything like painted within like 2 weeks, so people felt like it was just like, whoa, what happened? But I mean, that's how murals work, like it's a fast thing. So there was never a call, nobody like reached out to us, and I don't know, I think that's cool too. Like, I love seeing murals just pop up.
Me too.
But it's usually like a business,
Yeah, but the difference is like we love art,
right?
And I don't know if I could say the same about those people.
Well, when we were painting it, there was like a police officer that had stopped by, and he was super stoked. He's like, "Thank you so much. Like, I know that somebody needed to do something here. It was depressing,
right?
Because it was like painted over. Like, there's a lot of homeless people that are hanging out, so it was just like an alley that was like dark, and like I know that like while we were painting there was hella stuff on the floor, and now I think that, I mean, it's clean now. Like, I feel and it's inviting, and I think that there's a lot more going on there, and I think that that's just what murals do, and it's like it just it makes it that much more inviting.
It's a vibe thing,
and people want to take care of it. They feel like it belongs to them.
Yeah. And that's one of the big reasons why I'm like so drawn to murals is that like when you're like growing up, if you have like any art around your neighborhood, it's like that's like entrenched in your brain. It's like that's forever, like the mural in your neighborhood.
It becomes a landmark.
It becomes a landmark. It becomes if you become an artist, it's a huge thing you think about when you think about what inspired you as an artist. You go like, oh, I had that mural I always like loved seeing, and to think that you could be potentially a part of that cycle is like a really cool thing.
For sure. Yeah.
And then to realize how much like people are into this for like the wrong reasons,
Right.
is like it could be really demoralizing if you get pulled into their silly games.
Right. When they're in it for literally just money reasons, and
Yeah. And it's like I would be curious as to like who those people think are good artists, like
Yeah.
or even like their knowledge
They're
of,
friends.
of artists that are doing stuff right now that they're inspired by, because I would be surprised if they even had a list.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Me too. Yeah.
Because that's not what motivates them at the end of the day.
right.
But yeah, enough about that shit. Do you have anyone putting nails in a coffin?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's been fun. That was funny because I like dropped a print, which there's still a couple available.
Nice.
But that was like the day, and I was like planning for that day, and that thing just fucked my like I was very like excited to see how it went and things like that, and then that shit just threw me in a weird like
Headspace.
Yeah, for sure. I don't see how it wouldn't.
yeah. And then that's why that was one of those things that was a big motivator for why I deleted it. It was like I'm supposed to be like excited about today, and now I'm fucking in this weird.
Was it fucking with your productivity?
Oh, yeah.
100%. I think I had to take like a nap midday only because I was just fucking like emotionally drained.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's like I was literally because all this shit like. I was trying to hold on, especially on Instagram, a lot of like the shit we went through because of her. And it took forever to kind of be like over with it. So for that to happen, it was just like, goddamn, like such a fucking large cherry on top of this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to move on. What else we got to talk about?
Damn. That's a good question. MJ, what do you got?
we had the classic question. Have you watched anything good?
No.
Did you have something? Go ahead.
Not. I mean, I'm just like. I think. Did you want to? I don't know if you've already talked about like our show and stuff in New York and like
Stone Sparrow?
Yeah.
I don't know. Have I talked about it?
Not much. I mean, you mentioned it a little bit in the last episode, but any new updates as far as that goes?
Well, I mean, I just wanted to like. We worked really hard and we were proud of that show, and I'm like stoked for the next group of paintings that I'll be working on after that.
Yeah.
I think that like we both grew a lot from that show, and it's she was telling us that it's tough because there's like 500,000 people that have left New York like within the last since coronavirus, so
Sure.
it's like she's hoping that people start coming back. But I just wanted to put Stone Sparrow like say thank you to them because we've really liked working with her. There's one of the things, we had a little discussion with her yesterday, and it's tough to find galleries that you really work well with, and that you feel that they're putting in the same efforts that you are, because I feel like a lot of galleries nowadays will look for the people that have the highest Instagram following and just kind of go after, if somebody's already doing well, it's like, yeah, I'm going to have this person in my gallery because they're higher likely to sell. So she's somebody who I think that she's pretty, like, she doesn't have any open submissions for the gallery. Like, she's, I think, pretty particular with who she works with. And what we've seen is that she's doing like the old school hard gallery work where she's putting in like ads in magazines and like reaching out to other, what's it called? Like art
collectors.
Yeah. Like she's like
yeah, like I don't know.
I don't know what you would call it, but she's like doing like the work that I feel like galleries used to do before social media, and not simply relying on social media.
And not only that, but she's also one of the better galleries at social media.
Right.
Like she's good at it's like she's doing the work, and then also, you know, she has a decent following, and she runs her social media well compared to a lot of galleries.
I also like that she seems to be like have like a very strong vision of what she wants to do with the gallery. So it's like if you send her, like, say you have a body of work and you send her like, oh, you know, these are the 30 pieces, she's like, you know, like I need to give them space, like they each need their like time to shine type of thing. And like I don't know, I appreciate that she has like a vision and doesn't want to stray from that. And I think that's important for a gallery to have. It's like a strong vision and a strong voice. But I don't know, I think I'm really happy with our relationship that we've been building with her, and I'm excited because we didn't get to go to New York this year, which was kind of a bummer.
Were you guys planning on going for the show?
Yeah, even like up to the week before, we were thinking it's like, oh, let's just go, you know, because the plane tickets were cheap.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
But the shipping ended up being like $4,000.
Oh shit! Wow.
Yeah, so it's like, I think it was just the timing too, because it was like right at Thanksgiving. And yeah,
it's like no one's flying in planes, but because of that, but everyone's shipping everything around, so now plane costs are low and shipping prices shot up.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, because there was like right before we were calling around, and it was like one guy quoted me at $8,000.
Oh shit!
To ship, and it's like I can't, like I couldn't even afford the $4,000, you know. But yeah, I think I'm hoping to like have like an actual opening, and like in the next year or so.
Other than that, like one of the cool things about like this show that I'm like really happy about is like is creating this body of work, and then like not only that, but I was seeing like what MJ said was like the growth in this body of work. I had like a very clear pathway I wanted to take in doing this body of work, which is the like objects in motion, and also like with MJ stuff, it was like really cool to see kind of where it ended. You know what I mean? Like it was almost like maybe like a painting or two in, she started like pursuing a direction that I thought was pretty new for her, and like
interesting.
You see growth in that.
What was that you saw?
It was just like I think MJ was like, she's been trying to figure out the stuff around the figure.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And trying to be able to have that match the figure. It's like she put so much effort into painting figures for so long, and then she put such little into everything around the figure that there was a gap in between the two. And then this body of work, you saw like that part catch out.
Kind of.
And her kind of, you could see at least it's starting to like click, you know what I mean? And you're like, oh, that's good, because then like your next work is going to be interesting to see, because you at least have a direction you're going towards, rather than kind of being like, I don't know what to do with the rest of this painting.
Right.
You're like, you better figure that shit out.
Yeah, I've been rebuilding my website, so it's like I've been stuck staring at my paintings and categorizing them as far as years, and it feels, what's interesting is that it feels like all my paintings leading up to this point were all studies, like study, and I feel like recently I'm starting to like create like an actual body of work where it's like starting to have more of a voice as opposed to just like studies. I don't know, that's how it feels to me. And I'm really excited about the next ones I do, because I think it'll be just another step another step forward as far as like a narrative and creating, again, kind of solidifying more a body of work that feels more like it's saying something.
Nice.
So I don't know, I'm super excited about it. The tough thing now is finding models that I want to use, because I want to focus on also using because we use like actual models, and I want to start finding, and I've been looking for models of like all sizes.
Okay.
And I think
Body positive.
yeah. I've been trying to find like thicker models and people who are just different shapes and stuff, and I follow like a hashtag on Instagram which is plus size models. And it's like kind of embarrassing because when I'm like out and about and I'm scrolling through my Instagram, the plus size model tag is just like huge boobs and huge ass and like thongs and like, I don't know, it's
AF.
not, but I don't, for whatever reason, like plus size models just means like really thick girls in lingerie. A lot of it's like 90% of that hashtags. So I don't know, it's been tough to try and find like what I'm looking for, because I still want in my models, I want to find fearlessness and a vulnerability, and it's hard to get both of those because a lot of models want to look good, and it's like yes, it's like I want you to look good or whatever, but I also want you to have like Diana. I think she's really a talented model because she has this fearlessness in her work. So there's certain models that I like. There's a type of model that I'm looking for that has like, that's not afraid to like quote unquote not look good. Like I want it to be more of like raw emotion that you're getting from them as opposed to like a posed thing. So I don't know, that's where I'm struggling right now as far as finding like the perfect model for my vision as well. So plus COVID, like there's models that I would want to work with now, but
I'm fearless.
You'll model for me.
I've been told.
But yeah, that's I think that's something we all struggle with as far as finding models. It's like, it's a tough thing. That's like, for a while we were trying to look for actors, because I think that actors might work really well for that. But
but Shia LaBeouf isn't in town.
I know.
Hit me up, bro. But yeah, that's a tricky thing to figure out, and then to figure out how to direct them to get what you want. There's so much, like, that's a whole thing to learn,
because you're usually looking for like a very specific subtle thing, right?
Yeah, and it's so hard to get, but but when you get it, it's like, sometimes when I like take a photo, I get like it's like the most excited in my process I'll be, because it's the moment where I'm like, it's like, I can paint this now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the idea,
like you can see the painting coming together.
yeah, it's like, all right, now the painting's for real, like it's happening. That's when I get like, that to me is like, I don't know, it's just super exciting. And then when you look through your photos and you realize like, God, it's a little blurrier, and I fucking didn't check my focus that well, and then you're mad at yourself. All the things come crashing back down, and you come back to reality, and you realize, God damn, you shouldn't have been that excited at that moment. But it to me, that's one of the most exciting moments in the process, is just seeing when the pose just visually looks, a lot of times it ends up looking better because the model is just better at
than what you could direct.
And that's when you get really excited. P number 2 for MJ. We can keep talking too if you want. We don't have to pause for MJ.
Okay.
Right, MJ? Yep. So yeah, now that she's gone. But yeah, that's but yeah, I'm excited to see what's next.
Do you guys have any shows like lined up yet at all?
Yeah, so we're gonna do we're we're doing we're trying to lock in the exact date for a show for Lunar Yen. It's going to be me, MJ, and Ursula Young.
Okay.
And then we have, I think, like 4 or 5 group shows for Stone Sparrow, and then 2022 we're gonna do another, like a group, like I forget how they word it, like a group solo. It's like where you do like, it's kind of like, she calls them like 4 solo shows because her gallery's pretty large.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
So that's what we have planned as far as like art shows.
Yeah.
And then we're still having to figure out mural stuff to fill the little bit of space we have. And then the merchandise that was a new world is another like pile of work. So, no sleep.
Yeah.
But fuck it. I love it. It's crazy since like not working, how productive you can be. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, I'm working a lot, but it's like stuff that would take me like 3 times as long. Now, Oh,
because you're not spending 8 hours somewhere else.
Yeah, and you're just not exhausted from that 8 hours. So you're like, if I spend, that time doing something else, all of a sudden it's like, I don't know. And you just the feeling you have from working for someone else, and just kind of like the dread that I feel like is attached to that of like, God, I don't want to fucking, I don't know. But yeah,
so it sounds like you guys are focusing a little bit more on gallery stuff, or maybe not even gallery, but just not as much on mural work in the near future.
Oh no, we have some things that we're working on to hopefully push our mural so that they're like so that we're way too busy.
Oh, okay.
And we're always applying. We have one in the line that we applied to that we're waiting to hear back because we've made it past like 2 or 3 rounds.
Okay.
And then the next round is going to be like the 3 finalists for this mural. And then if we get into that round, we make $1,000 to design it. And then if we get the job, it's $100,000 job. So it's like,
oh, wow.
So it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, there's so much we're like plotting. I feel like now that we're full timing it, it's like everything is like, there's so many like there's so many things going on at once that we're trying to tackle. There's even like, we're trying to figure out how to buy a second multi-unit property.
Oh, wow.
So we're like, so that we can have some passive income that's just like potentially makes us more riskier of takers.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
I think so.
It's like we have to calculate our risks now, which is, I think, a good thing. But if we can figure out how to make passive income through things that aren't even art, then we have the potential to now like bulldoze through like ideas. Do you know what I mean? Be like, this might be a cool idea, and just instead of hesitating, be able to pursue it harder.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's the financial comfort allows for risk taking.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if that financial comfort is in something else outside of art. It allows you to just make more moves in this. So yeah, that's where we're at now.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's fun. I don't know how it's all going to work out, but whatever. We're all going to die at some point, right?
Well, it sounds like you guys have just been working for a long time just to get all the pieces together to be able to do this. Like seeing that it's all coming together, and seeing like how many things you guys are like stacking on top of what you guys already had.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, it's a super fun. And I always talk a lot of shit about MJ, but I'm super lucky to have her as like a partner to do this with, because it's just like it's just I don't know who, like, if I didn't have an artist partner, I don't know how I could have these conversations. Do you know what I mean? And our personalities are just different enough to where we benefit each other in a lot of ways.
Right.
So you know, I'm super lucky in that way. Because I have all these crazy ideas and she does a lot of the legwork shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, we should do this. And then she's like, all right, let me go reach out to those people. And I'm like, God, I would never, I'm so bad at sending an email, replying back to an email. It's definitely something I'm trying to learn, but fuck, I hate it. It's like homework.
Right. Yeah.
I just want to do Hurashi with my friends. But yeah.
But I wanted to do hood stuff with my friends.
Stuff. I would say shit. Damn, you learn something new every day. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this next year goes. It was funny because I remember 2020. I remember having all these. I had like. My ideas were, I feel like we're just starting to I was just starting to like be excited about some ideas and being like, oh, I can't wait to see what 2020 looks like. And obviously it went way crazier than anyone expected.
For sure. Yeah.
But, and I knock on wood, hopefully we can't do that a second time. But 2021, I'm like, I'm really excited to see. It's like every year I'm really excited. I just keep getting more and more excited about seeing where the future goes. You know, and like the potential that's out there, and trying to like figure out how to like do a bunch of cool shit with my friends. But yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I know you weren't going to talk about that much, but you do have a big idea for art in this area.
yeah, and even that idea is getting bigger. I gotta keep it secret because shitty people. But
yeah, as outlined in the first hour of this episode.
Yeah, even with that idea, I mean, we're working towards a lot of things to get that off the ground, and to see the potential that might have. We're really excited to see where that goes. And then even how that might grow into something else is like, then the thing we're really kind of like talking about now a lot is, we're talking about secret stuff, so we have to be very vague. But yeah, how like this idea, like let's say we have a big idea for something to do here in Santa Rosa, but then it's like, how can that become big? Like, how can that become a big thing? And then what's the spirit of that thing? And trying to define that, so that when it grows correctly, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Is one of the interesting things with that idea, which it has huge potential.
Yeah.
And we're excited to kind of see where it might lead. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. MJ didn't do it, we're cursed. But yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Well, I mean, going back to the painting thing, I'm just excited to get back to painting.
Yeah, which means that she's going to get back to drawing, and then I'm going to yell at her till she paints. That was like one of the funniest things when we were leading up to the show. MJ just kept starting a new painting.
Oh, yeah.
Every painting was like, let me start this painting, and then I'm going to start this one. And I was like, you need to paint like right now. Like, stop drawing and paint. It's like you paint slow, and you're gonna give yourself 3 months to paint like 12 paintings all at once.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot less nicer than that. I probably did a lot of yelling. Because
Well, MJ confirmed or denied.
Yeah, it's like art boot camp.
And you can sign up for art boot camp at Sergio's class. What was it called?
Mainloop.com. all your info, necessary info there.
How's that been going, by the way? Is that on the back burner now that you're doing another class?
Oh, no, I'm still doing both of the things right now. I'm kind of juggling them really at this moment. I'm still I still need to write out sort of that outline for what I want to do with the gouache course, because it wasn't something I necessarily thought I would be jumping into right away. But now that it's like, now all this stuff is coming together, I'm like, oh, I should really get on this now and really flesh it out and get it going as quickly as I can. Just dealing with like the technical side of stuff right now, setting up the cameras the right way, and there's like there's all sorts of things that I've learned about, and as far as equipment goes, when it comes to shooting your own work, like with I've realized like how not good Canon is for certain things, and video, shooting video is one of them. Like apparently a lot of people use Sony cameras for that because they're just way better suited for it. Like they have better firmware for it. So yeah, like I've been doing all these different tests on shooting for myself and just figuring out this new equipment, and that's taken some time. Just also learning like how much more gear I need to get like the actual look of the footage I want.
Right.
Even though I don't have to worry about editing it, the people at Sentient Academy will do that for me. Still getting like the right raw footage for it has been more difficult than I thought it would be. It's not as straightforward as just turning on the camera and shooting. So what it's doing now is like you get these what are they called? They're boxes that you can get in a lot of like Twitch streamers or people who play video games or anything like that from their TV. You can feed your TV into this box, which will then record it into an external hard drive. Instead of and so it just bypasses recording onto your SD card on your camera. But what it does though is it just records whatever is on the screen. So the problem with that is though, unless you have a way to monitor what you're looking at, you don't know exactly what's being recorded.
Right.
So there's a lot of trial and error figuring out like what I'm actually grabbing at the same time as I'm painting. The thing that it does though, it frees you up. You don't have to worry about like turning stop and start on. Like cameras for some reason have this like 30-minute time limit where they just stop shooting, and with that it bypasses that, so you can just keep recording as long as you want. But until I get like a little monitor or something, I won't know exactly what I'm recording. And there's been times where I thought I was recording and it wasn't, and it was like recording the wrong thing. So just like figuring out all those little things is taking up a lot of time. Just all that technical shit always takes up so much more time than you want it to.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you... Go ahead.
I was going to make a bad joke, so go ahead.
Are you doing all of this out of your studio?
At home right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask, why didn't you buy a monitor on Black Friday?
I didn't know I needed one.
Oh. So that's recently, like, you figured that out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
All that stuff is so difficult. Like, video recording is such a pain in the ass. It's so, there's so much, because it's like Sergio was saying, there's so many like little things, because it's not just learning the cameras, but it's the editing and all that stuff and getting the right lighting. It's just intense.
Don't talk to me like as if I haven't made one YouTube video before.
How has it been in your guys' studio? Have you guys had any like you've been able to access it just fine?
Oh yeah.
Due to COVID, like you guys.
Oh yeah, that's no problem. I mean, the only thing they want us to do is just like wear a mask when you're like going in and out of the.
Oh, like down the halls and
stuff like that. But other than that, no. I mean, most people aren't there. Even before COVID, there weren't like it wasn't like people were there all the time anyway.
How is there still like? I'd say that usually it's at like half capacity or maybe less.
Yeah.
Is it still the same?
It's about that, yeah. Most people are there during the day.
Nice.
And then, yeah, usually Vanessa and I are there in the evening. Yeah. So really that part of it hasn't really changed much at all when it comes to COVID. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, like we found out that we can just get these little pocket Wi-Fi things, so we can have internet at the studio when we need it. But
There wasn't internet before?
no,
Okay.
the building doesn't.
It's like a hotspot.
Yeah, a little hotspot. Yeah.
I miss like what I realized being at home now and working out of my studio is like I'm the type of person that might do well with like a studio outside of my home because I like leaving the house for a little bit. Josh is completely fine like being here all day, but I like whenever I pictured myself working, being a full-time artist, I always pictured myself spending a portion of my day at like a cafe.
Oh wow,
And,
with
like-
a cigarette. Drinking.
In France.
Yeah. You speak French. Also, you're also French in this scenario.
Wearing a beret.
I think I was born and raised in France in this scenario.
In my full-time art fantasy.
Yeah. And I would love if you got a studio.
I know because because I need to talk to people. So Josh is the only people. Like Josh, Mello, and Garbage are sick of me.
Yeah.
All I want to
Yes.
I disrupt Mello's naps.
Yeah. MJ will try to take a nap. She's like, I'm like in the middle of a painting. She's like, you want to take a nap with me? I'm like, no. What the? I'm painting right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's horrible.
I'm used to like disrupting people.
Yeah, I'm used to like peace and quiet. I used to have like I think 2 or 3 hours before MJ got off work. It was like my most productive time in my studio.
Yeah.
And now those hours are gone. So I just close my garage door now, which is a huge light source for me. So I forfeit the light in order to get stuff done. And these are the struggles that I have to live with.
Yeah, but I liked the Hellas's studios. Like those ones look kind of cool.
Which one's the one? That's
She shared
Francisco?
She shared a tiny studio with 3 people.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, but I liked that building.
Oh.
The one that Sergio stays at is haunted and scary.
I would like.
It's really not.
What would be nice is to have like a single unit as a studio.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like in France somewhere.
Yeah.
Right next to like a croissant factory where you can smell the butter
The perfect
and
scenario.
dough cooking.
And on the other side, it's like a puppy store.
Yeah, a puppy store. That's what those are called. Puppy store. We buy them. You buy them. We sell them. We've got them all.
Yeah, it's not like it's. I mean, it's a stupid complaint or whatever, but it's just I get like restless, like being at home all day.
Sure.
Yeah, people don't know how that feels. They're not sheltering at home at this moment.
Well, I don't think if we were doing art full time before COVID, it would be similar. No, except they could go to a cafe.
Plus, most of our listeners, they don't believe in Corona. They're not a shill.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Am I right? Oh, God. I'm so tired of
Corona.
people. No, I mean, Corona's gonna Corona. I can't. I gotta just wait that bitch out.
Corona's gonna
Crown's gonna crown.
Yeah. I'm tired of people. I'm tired of social media.
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know about social media. I feel like I don't know where this thing exists anymore. Maybe I don't know. Maybe social media.
You mean just being sick of social media?
Yeah, a portion of it. I like some of it, and then there's like a part of it, that I hate. Then I hate that part, and then people give me 1-star reviews, and they fun to do something, and I don't give a fuck. And it's like, yeah, but yeah, I hate that's the whole like. When we talked about that post and how I like put it out there and I removed it, it's like that's because I hate that part of social media.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the mob mentality part.
Like the mob mentality, the like people like spreading shit ideas, people trying to point anger at people.
Yeah.
It's like all that.
It's unproductive.
Yeah.
It's not how you change minds either.
Yeah.
You know, I think that, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. But
yeah, good times. I don't know where to go from here. Have you seen anything good, Sergio?
Been watching some shows with Vanessa.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Are you guys watching The Mandalorian at all?
I started it. I haven't gotten far. I think we plan on trying again.
Oh, okay.
MJ's not into it at all.
Really?
So then I was put to watching it myself, and then I don't know. I just stopped.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it's a good show to like sit and watch. So if I don't watch something with MJ, then I watch it in my studio while staying busy, and that's not a good show for that.
Nah, it's not.
So
It's dark, not a lot of dialogue.
yeah,
so.
not a lot of dialogue, so it's fucked.
Yeah. Well, that sucks.
Yeah, but it looks good. I mean, from what I've seen, it looks good.
Yeah.
I just need to convince MJ to like it.
Is it just Star Wars? It's just like you're just.
I don't know. I think it had to be. You have to be in a mood.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
It's a vibe thing.
yeah. Well, I don't know. You probably weren't like that into the original Star Wars, though, right? So
No.
yeah, I mean, it's like the closest to that. Like, I love the I guess you would call it world building that they do in the show, where like they really take advantage of all these like weird different worlds that that they built for the universe, and it's just kind of fun to see it be explored in an interesting way rather than it just kind of feeling all shoved together like the movies have been recently. So it's like there's actually room to flesh out a good story with it too.
Yeah, but the thing I love about the movie is when they put Princess Leia on the thing and they put her into space and she froze.
Yeah.
And she came back to life.
Yeah.
So
Well, nothing's gonna blow your mind like that in the show, but it's still worth it.
So, I mean, that's the thing I like about the movies.
Yeah. What about Fargo season 4? Did you watch all that?
We did. What'd you think?
I liked it a lot. It did take a while to set everything up, but I feel like the characters were pretty interesting in the end. Yeah, there were, you know, there's a lot of things where it kind of was like certain characters that you really got invested in, and then there were a few others that were just kind of there. But overall, I feel like it paid off to a pretty satisfactory ending.
Me and MJ hated it.
Really? Like, was it your least favorite season?
It's my least favorite season. It's definitely my least favorite season, probably by a long shot.
Really? Huh.
Although, like, maybe it's just because it was attached to Fargo. But
Yeah, maybe if it had been its own thing, you would have been less harsh.
Yeah.
And like, oh, that was good, you know. But it's like,
I mean, back to it being a vibe thing. I feel like it doesn't necessarily like I could see certain parts fitting into that, but I feel like it was much more of like a mafia movie or a mafia thing than a Fargo thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Although I know, like, especially the show, there's a lot of like mob like tones in it that but it always seems like the dynamic is Fargo is like these people who live in this dark world, and then people who stumble into it by accident, and they're like a rat trying to like swim in cream or some shit. Do you know what I mean? Like they're just trying to survive at some point, and then it creates this funny dynamic
Okay.
that like is the underlining tone of the of the movie and the shows are like these horrible people and these like people who a lot of times are like beaten up by life and they're finally like, I'm standing up for myself, and they just happen to stand up for themselves at the most inappropriate time.
Sure.
And it causes this funny dynamic. And this one just felt like it was missing that part. Like it was much more mafia driven, and the only person who kind of fit that the most was the Italian mob boss, right? The son.
Josta.
What's his name?
Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah, Jason Schwartzman. He's the only one that kind of fit it, but he's a mob boss's son. You know what I mean? So he like signed up for it from the very beginning. Although he might not have fit into that world, he was a part of it from the get-go. Where like I like it when it's someone kind of stumbling in it accidentally,
Right,
and seeing how they have to try to hopefully get out of this, out of the shenanigans of a horrible mafia situation or whatever, or like these dark ominous figure situations.
Right.
And I like that interaction.
I see.
I felt like it was missing that, and that's like to me the heart of Fargo. It's like, and so that's why I didn't. It's my least favorite.
I see.
And I think if
Yeah,
it wasn't
I get that.
attached to Fargo, which I feel like it attached itself at the end, that attachment I actually liked. I was like, oh, that's really cool. But it wasn't enough. Like it wasn't enough to like justify it. And I think if it wasn't a part of it, if it was just its own thing, I'd be like, oh wow, that was a really cool show. Like, and super interesting and kind of reminded me of Fargo, but not totally. Like that's, you know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Also, Chris Rock as a character was a little distracting.
I know. I mean, I told Sergio that before I watched it. I was like, I'm going to have a hard time watching Chris Rock. There's moments
But he has so many facial expressions. It's hard to take him as a serious actor. He's always going to be a silly actor to me.
Yeah, I think it goes back to when you were talking about the models we're searching for. There's a part of Chris Rock that can't be super vulnerable in a weird way. So, like, for instance, like Chris Rock will like yell at someone in there, but it's almost like well, that's Chris Rock yelling at someone, not like that character like really letting loose. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. No, that's kind of my biggest probably criticism of the show is just Chris Rock just not being able to do what he needs to do.
Yeah, and it
for that
sucks
character.
Because I feel like that could have been such a good character.
Yeah, it almost felt like they only gave him enough that he could handle as an actor.
You know who would have been a perfect person is the dude that's like on Breaking Bad. That's the chicken guy.
Never saw it.
Oh god.
The one, not the restaurant owner.
Yeah. Because he has like the perfect amount of like
authority.
Yeah, he's like a nerd, but like you take him extremely serious.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find him. So maybe I can just show you a picture. And
Have you seen the show Kingdom on Netflix?
No.
That one's really good.
Kingdom.
It's called Kingdom, and it's.
Have I seen it?
Yeah, it's the Korean one.
Oh, I think I've heard it mentioned before, but
really good. Did you like Game of Thrones?
The little bit that I saw, I liked.
Sergio is one of those people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really good.
Have you seen this actor before?
Oh yeah. He's in Mandalorian, and he's in a bunch of other things too. Yeah.
Oh, Mandalorian. See?
Yeah, I forget his name. He's in the second season of The Boys as well.
Oh, yep. Yeah, he would have been perfect for that role.
Yeah.
He would have been a spot-on cast where you'd have been like, "Fuck yes."
We need to get a secondary job of hiring actors for shows.
A secondary? You mean eighth dairy now at this point?
Dairy.
But yeah, what were we just watching recently? We were pissed about the casting. There was something where we were like, "Who the fuck casted that?
I don't remember. Was it a movie?
Maybe. I can't remember. Maybe it was Fargo. I'm just forgetting. But
Yeah, could
I'm
be.
gonna remember later.
But Kingdom is a really good one.
Yes.
We
It's
heard,
Korean.
We heard about that one from Bobby Lee on
Oh, yeah. I heard him. That's probably where I heard
the
it
Bad
mentioned.
Friends. Oh my God. It was like,
really good.
It's like one of the ones where like somebody recommends something and you're like, oh, let's try and watch it. And then we spent like 3 days just watching it, you know, and it's
I think
like,
two.
Really?
it's something
too.
like you just like can't wait to watch the next episode.
It's dubbed,
Nice.
so
Yeah.
so you don't have to read it. That's what's.
Oh yeah, it's kind of funny that it's dubbed, but it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
That
dubbed.
one.
Okay.
Yeah,
So don't judge us
Is
for
the
that.
dubbing passable?
Yeah.
it's fine.
So-
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge not dubbed hater.
Yeah.
Growing up in a Spanish-speaking home, and where they cast like everybody talks like this, like in all the Latin movies, they dub it with like one person is playing all the characters for some
Really?
reason. Yeah, like it's like they'll
It's like
hire
an
one.
audiobook.
Yeah, like they hire one actor, and then they're like, "Si, señor," and like it's like they play it
Why
as
would
a
he
kid.
say? What would he talk in Spanish?
Oh yeah, you're right.
He'd be like, yes, sir.
No, because I hate it because on the Spanish channels they are dubbing English movies.
Oh, I see.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so I hated dubbed movies growing up.
Wait, so why did they talk like a white guy speaking Spanish? They're like, "Por qué esto mi bueno y tú para
But
aquí?"
I think that a lot of Spanish speakers
Of all the Spanish
would hate it.
I just
Or like,
can we talk about my Spanish? I just nailed. You guys didn't even address that, and weren't even impressed.
Got him!
But Kung Fu Hustle. All right,
oh,
guys.
that one's hilarious.
Sergio.
That's just a funny movie, or just a good movie overall.
Yeah, dubbed. So all I'm saying is anything can be done well. Am I right?
Yeah, I think it works probably a little better, like those like really silly comedies like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, Kingdom is really, really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it a drama or what?
It's horror.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It falls under the horror
Drama
category.
horror. Drawer.
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 Horror draw.
Horror.
I like drawer.
Horma.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I got nothing else. How long have we been going?
That's a good
I do have one topic if we need more time.
got 10 minutes left to hit 2 hours.
Okay. Well, I've been thinking about. God, man, nah, it's not worth it. I feel like it's. We could just. Oh, Boy Meets World. I've been watching that.
Speaking of older shows, we've been Vanessa already watched this, but it was a recommendation from somebody else, and then she got into it. Now I'm into it. Is Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah.
I watched that like at the beginning of quarantine.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Appa. That's what I call Mello now.
Yeah.
He is Appa for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. The
His
movie
garbage Momo.
Yeah. It's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that, I mean, we could probably just. What do you have coming up?
I think this is actually opening this weekend. It's Modern Eden's group show, Amanda Lynn's solo show, but a bunch of us did work for because Modern Eden always does those like side group shows next to it. So I have a painting for that. So that should be coming online anytime soon.
Are they having showings for that?
I think it's by appointment only. What I saw on their website.
It might be hard for I assume most galleries are doing longer shows right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
It would be weird if you were trying to do a monthly.
I think they might still be trying to, but who knows? They might.
Martinez?
Yeah, I think
Damn,
they
that's
might.
Crazy.
Unless they're just so booked up that they just still trying to get all the shows out that they tried to
That's crazy.
book through a year. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like most of their work is sold online anyway, so not sure how much that affects them monetarily in that way. But yeah, I mean, just used to it anyway.
Yeah. Just
However it is.
Yeah. Do you boo-boos? Do you have anything, MJ?
I'm already behind. I have I had a small group show with the band after the Stone Sparrow, and I'm supposed to be doing a figurative show for them. And then we got a bunch of stuff next year. There's a bunch of group shows with Stone Sparrow, and we have an upcoming show with Luna Rien.
I already talked about all this.
Oh,
when you were peeing, I think.
Okay. Yeah, but that's what we got. We got a busy year, though. I mean, just besides just like art shows, like we have a lot planned. So I don't know. I'm excited about this coming year. We're doing all the like footwork right now, which feels like a little overwhelming. But there's a lot to do, and immediately it's just just commissions and stuff that we're trying to finish up.
Nothing they can keep an eye out for.
No, but check out the Stone Sparrow show.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
They also offer one thing that they were
How long is that going or staying for?
I think she said till February, I think. January, February.
Yeah.
But one of the cool things that they do now is they offer monthly payments. I guess it's something new.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Were they not doing that before?
No, it's like a specific program that they're working on that I forget what they called it.
But it doesn't act like layaway. It's the second you qualify for the payment program, it's almost like a credit.
It's like almost like care credit. Do you have a care credit card?
It's for dentist, like
So it's almost like a credit card, but you end up doing it over like. You end up paying it back over 6 months with no interest. And that's the way this works. But it's like you could go to a gallery, buy a piece, take it home with you that day, and then you'll spend...
When the show comes down.
Right. And you spend like, whatever payment plan you schedule, if it's like 6 months or a year, paying that payment off. Yeah. And it's super... What she said was that it's like a very... like the guy that's running it is based out of Australia. And like he's up at all hours of the night. Like if somebody calls him, he's like, hello, like he picks up hella fast, and it's like great customer service. So.
Yeah.
That was an interesting thing.
Like I haven't heard of it. I mean, because like Fuko Ueda is my favorite painter, and I was like randomly looking her up, and I saw that she had some pieces for sale at Nucleus Gallery, and I was like super close to buying a piece because they offer a payment plan. But it was like, God, I'm probably like I'm pretty in debt right now due to like all the stuff I've been doing for the business. But I mean, it's cool to know that it's affordable. It's like something that I would never like. I'm like, I'm not going to spend that much money on a painting right now. I was pretty close to trying to buy it just simply because they had a payment plan. So I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's again one of the things that gallery that specifically Stone Sparrow is doing to make it more reachable for people.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, that's something you're saying last episode. You're like payment plan.
Learn those words.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was thinking of it as like the layaway style where you're you can keep paying me, and then once you finish the payment, I'll send off the thingy. But I just we just learned this yesterday, and I was like, fuck, that's like a cool option.
Right. It was funny too because she says that like they're like, oh, like if she didn't even like we didn't ask if it's gone bad, but she's like, there's only one time where somebody like missed a payment and didn't pay or like refused to pay or whatever out of this and they repossessed the painting.
Oh really? Wow. Damn.
So I was like, that's so funny. I wonder like the person, because I remember I used to work for a company where we would we were like essentially a bank, and we worked with people with low income and helped finance their cars, and we had a repossession guy, and it's like they hire like the biggest, scariest looking guy to be like the repo guy, and I'm just wondering who the art repo guy is.
Yeah, seriously.
It's like the first thing I thought of. I'm like, what does that guy look like? Who's the guy repossessing art pieces?
He used to be
same guy, but he just dressed like a tattoo artist, like messenger type dude.
Or he's like the retired car repo guy. Like I work too many.
Yeah, exactly,
I
yeah.
had to find something easier on the joints. Yeah, and I got the same Stone Spare show. If you guys want to see my work, it's up online if you're in New York. I don't know how things work. I mean, well, we're shut down. We got strict. I don't know if New York did.
Probably, I would imagine.
Yeah, but yeah, if you're in New York, go check it out.
Also, your shirts came out and your hoodies. Oh, sorry. I'm cutting you off.
I was getting there. Yeah, and then if you guys, I just released some clothing, so 2 t-shirts, and then 2 hoodies, like a crop top for the girlies or guys, you know, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Or a black hoodie for the guys or the girls. I know.
I see sleeves with a crop top.
Yeah, for sure. The shirts are really cool. They're like they don't shrink because they're tri-blend. I don't know if this is important to anyone,
Yeah.
but like it's one of those cool things where like they use 2 plastic bottles for every shirt. They recycle like 2 plastic bottles, and they like donate every shirt that gets sold donates like $2 to like students in Haiti,
Wow.
in Haiti. So like so you can also be a good person while you buy my shirts.
Yeah.
And
Even if you think Josh is a bad person.
yeah, even if you think I'm a horrible human being, you can be a good person. But yeah, that's one of the cool little details about it, which I'm excited about.
Nice.
But I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited about like that whole thing. I know I've talked to you about it. I don't know how much on the podcast, but I know off the podcast we talk about how I'm trying to figure out clothing and how I want to tackle it, and I'm really excited. This is like the first design I did, and I have some other designs I plan on doing smaller runs, but this is the one I'm most excited about. And then trying to find
your signature run.
Yeah, this is my first one. I'm really excited about the design for the shirt, and then I have a couple like more kind of like I don't know how to explain it. Not so. Those actually might end up being like the ones I just kind of constantly re-up. That makes any sense?
Yeah.
And then this one's, once I'm done with this one, I feel like maybe I'll hold on to it, and if like I might bring it back late, like years from now or something. But
so you're kind of treating it like a fine art print in a way, kind of additions maybe.
Yeah, in a way, like as like whoever knew about this shit early, like they have that like new shit, and then or like the first shit, and then you know, even if like let's say like I all of a sudden I look back at this design and I'm like, oh man, that was really early in my process. I would never do something like that again. I still like, it's like the going back to that Jordan documentary, right? He wears like his first Jordans for like the 20th anniversary of it or some shit like that.
Okay.
And by the end of the game, he's like, holy fuck, my feet hurt.
Oh, right. Yeah,
I can't believe I used to play in these shoes.
Yeah, his feet were all bloody or something like that.
But there's something about like the first Jordans. Do you know what I mean? Like there's something about that. And I always like that. I was like, I mean, even though they still make the old Jordans, I like when you have something that like when the thing was building to become whatever it was intended to be. Not saying I'm going to be Jordans or whatever, but
but maybe easy.
But maybe easy. yeah. Or probably not. I'm not trying to do that either. But yeah, so yeah, go check it out. Go check it out if you're interested.
For sure.
But that's why the shirts are also a little pricier than I probably would want.
I see.
But whatever.
Then.
Is that it?
I believe so.
All right. This has been Waiting Dry. If you're still listening, I'm finna bust.
Bye.